Good morning to all. I am KV Bhikshamaya, lecturer in zoology, Government Degree College, Gambhiravapet, Rajana Sircilla. Subject zoology. Topic is today calotes, respiratory and circulatory systems. Calotes, first of all we discuss in calotes. Calotes phylum is Chordata, subphylum Archibrates, superclass Gnathostomata, class Reptilia, subclass Diapsida, order Squamata, suborder Lacertilia, genus Calotes, species Versicolor. Calotes is commonly called garden lizards because it is commonly available in the garden areas. It is also called bloodsucker, but it does not sucker the blood. In the case of males, the head is brushed the red and hence the name of bloodsucker. It is widely distributed. It spends most of the time on trees, hence it is an arboreal animal. It is an insectivorous. Next we discuss about the external features of the calotes. Body is elongated, slender, lizard-like, clearly divisible into four parts. One is the head, two is neck, three is trunk, and four is tail. The head is pyramidal in shape with a short conical snout. The mouth is situated at the anterior end of the snout. It is bounded by two jaws. A pair of external nostrils is situated dorsal to the mouth. There are two eyes located behind the nostrils. Each eye is shielded by movable eyelids and a nictitating membrane. A tympanical membrane is situated behind each eye. Next is neck. The neck is short and narrow, and it is joined the head with the trunk. The trunk, next is trunk. Trunk is elongated. The trunk bears two pairs of the limbs. They are more or less equal in length. Forelimbs. Forelimb consists of the upper arm, the forearm and the hand. The hand bears 5 digits along ending with claws. Hind limbs. The hind limbs consist of the thigh, the shank and the foot. The foot bears 5 toes it ending with claws. Next part is for tail. The tail is a long and measuring about 23 centimeters. Tail is cylindrical and tapering like a weave. Tapering like a weave. On the ventral side of the animal in between the trunk and tail there is a transverse slight called the cloacal approach. Cloacal approach. Cloacal aperture. We discussed about the calotis respiratory system. A calotis is a true land animal. It is a true lung breather. The respiratory system consists of respiratory tract and respiratory organs. First off, we will discuss respiratory tract. The respiratory tract starts with a pair of external nostrils located at the tip of the snout. They open into the buccal pharyngeal cavity through the internal nostrils. A longitudinal slit like glottis is present between the basal bifurcation of the tongue. The glottis leads into the larynx. The larynx is box of shaped at the wall is supported by three cartilages. They are a pair of arachnoid cartilages and a single cricoid cartilages. The larynx is a contact with two pairs of muscles now as a musculus compressors laryngeals, which is act as the sphincter of the glottis and muscles dilator larynx, which the helps in the opening of the larynx. The larynx opens into a long tube called a trachea. The larynx opens into the long tube called trachea. The wall of the trachea is supported by cartilaginous tracheal rings. Okay. Next, which prevents the trachea from collapsing. The tracheal rings are complete. In the thoracic cavity, the posterior end of the trachea bifurcates into two small narrow tubes called bronchi. Narrow tubes called bronchi. Each bronchus leads into a lung. Each bronchus leads into a lung. This is the respiratory tract. Next, we discuss respiratory organs. Respiratory organs. A pair of lungs from the respiratory organs of Calotes. A pair of lungs from the respiratory organs of Calotes. The lungs are elongated sacs. They lie in the thoracic cavity on one on either side of the heart. Either side of the heart. They lie in the thoracic cavity, one on either side of the heart. Right lungs is a little larger than the left one. Right lung is a little larger than the left one. Each lung is internally divided into many chambers called alveoli. Chambers called alveoli. The exchange of gases takes place in the alveoli. The distal part of the lungs is without alveoli and therefore non-respiratory. And there are non-respiratory. The distal part of a lung is without alveoli and therefore non-respiratory. The mechanism of the respiratory lizard is a different form that in the frog and also more effective. It is provided by the ribs and their intercostal muscles. Respiratory involves two steps. They are the inspiration and expiration. Inspiration and expiration. Inspiration. During the inspiration, the muscles of pull the ribs outside and enlarging the body cavity. As a result, the lungs expand, the fresh air rushes into them from the outside of through nostrils. Next, expiration. During the expiration, his ribs are the pulled back to the air original position. Consequently, the body's cavity is reduced. The lungs are freshed and their foul air goes out through some passages. This is the respiratory mechanism. This is the respiratory mechanism of Calotes. Next, also we discuss about Calotes circulatory system. The blood vascular system of the Calotes is closed and consists of first is a blood, 2 heart, 3 arterial system, 4 is venous system. First is 1 blood. The blood reddish in color. It contains plasma, red blood cells and white blood cells. Red blood cells is a biconvex and epithelial in shape. White blood cells is a amoeboid shape. Both RBC and WBC are nucleated. Next, the heart. The heart of the Calotes is a triangular and red color and 3 chambered muscular organ. It is covered by a membrane called a pericardium. It is covered by a membrane called a pericardium. Between the pericardium and the heart there is a fluid called a pericardial fluid. Pericardial fluid. This fluid reduced the friction and protects the heart from the external shocks. External shocks. The anterior two articles are clearly marked off from the posterior single ventricle by a transverse auriculoventricular groove. Posterior single ventricle by a transverse auricular ventricular groove. A truncus arteriosus is a lacking the thin walled sinus venosus. Sinus venosus lies transversely and dorsally of the auricles. First is sinus venous. First, sinus venosus. The sinus venosus is formed by the union of vena cava. Vena cava. It is collected the venous blood. It collected the venous blood. The sinus venosus is unequally constricted into two chambers. Connected to two chambers. Next. Once again, the sinus venosus is formed by the union of vena cava. It collects the venous blood. The sinus venosus is unequally constricted into two chambers. The right half of the sinus venosus is larger in size, and it receives the first caval vein and the right prevical vein. The right precaval vein. The right half of the sinus venous is the larger in size, and it is receives both caval vein and the right prevical vein. The left half of the sinus venosus receives the left precaval vein. The sinus venosus opens into the right article by a sinoauricular aperture. This aperture is guarded by sinus auricular valves. This is the sinus venosus. Next, second part is the auricles. The heart has two auricles, left and right. The two auricles are separated by a septum called the interauricular septum. The two auricles are separated by a septum called the interauricular septum. The left auricular receives oxygenated blood through the a common pulmonary vein. There is the through a common pulmonary vein. The right auricle receives a deoxygenated blood from the sinus venous. The two auricles open into ventricles by two openings called auriculoventricular apertures. This is a auricles. Next, ventricles. Ventricles is a single ventricle as a thick, spongy muscular walls internally projecting into their enter the lashing reeds called the columnae carneae. Columnae carneae. The left and right auriculoventricular apertures are bordered by auriculoventricular valves. The lobes of these valves are attached to the columnae carneae by thread like a muscles, the cardiac tendineae. Next we discuss an incomplete the interventricular spectrum divides into the lumen of the ventricle incompletely into a right chamber cavum pulmonale and a left chamber cavum dorsale. Three arches, right and left systemic and pulmonary arise from the ventricle. The two systemics arise independently from the cavum dorsal of the ventricle. The pulmonary arch arises ventrically from the cavum pulmonale of the ventricle. A cord of the white tissue called the gubernaculum cord arises from the posterior end of the heart. It connects the heart and the liver. This is the ventricle's functions. Next we discuss about the functioning of heart. Deoxygenated blood from the body is returned to the sinus venous through cava venous. When the sinus venous contract, the blood is driven into the right auricle through sinoarterial aperture. Meanwhile, the left auricle receives oxygenated blood from the lungs through the pulmonary vein. When the two auricles contract, the deoxygenated blood from right auricle passes into right side of the ventricle. That's called cavum pulmonale. While oxygenated blood from the left auricle aqueous of the left side, in spite of the spongy nature of the ventricular cavity, some mixing of the pure and venous blood may occur. When the ventricle contracts, venous blood from the right side of the driven through the pulmonary arch to the lungs. simultaneously oxygenated and part of the mixed blood from the left side goes into systematic arches and distributed to the body. And receives the purest blood, the values of the prevent backward flow of blood during contraction. This is the function of heart. Thank you.